High Admiral Zixtal stood before the Confederation Council's curved display wall, their crystalline form reflecting the soft blue light of countless star charts. The massive chamber, hewn from living crystal deep within the core of the Confederation's capital world, held representatives from over 30 advanced civilizations. Today, they had gathered to discuss what many considered the greatest threat to galactic stability: humanity. The data is conclusive. Zixtal's voice resonated through the chamber, their crystalline form pulsing with each word. These humans have progressed from primitive atmospheric flight to rudimentary interplanetary travel in less than 2 centuries. Their rate of technological advancement defies all known development models. The council chamber hummed with worried murmurs. Ambassador Nirak of the Quantum Collective raised a tendril, their bioluminescent patterns expressing concern. But surely, High Admiral, their technology remains primitive by our standards. Our latest intelligence suggests they haven't even mastered quantum phase shifting. Zixtal's form flickered with what passed for amusement among their kind. That's precisely what makes them dangerous, Ambassador. They achieve results through brute force and inefficient methods that no civilized species would consider. Observe. The display shifted to show human space stations, ships, and orbital platforms. They still use chemical rockets alongside their primitive fusion drives. Their space stations are modular, pieced together like children's toys. Their weapons are simple kinetic and nuclear devices. But Zixtal paused for effect. They are extraordinarily effective with these primitive tools. General Karvix of the warrior clades leaned forward, their chitinous armor clicking against the crystal seats. You speak of effectiveness, High Admiral, yet I see no evidence of superior military capability. Where are their planetary shields? Their quantum arrays? Their consciousness matrices? That's just it, Zixtal replied, their crystalline form pulsing with excitement. They don't need them. Humanity has turned their entire solar system into a defensive network using what we would consider obsolete technology. They've weaponized mining equipment, converted cargo haulers into weapon platforms, and developed targeting systems that operate on principles our scientists consider impossible. The chamber erupted in dismissive chatter. Supreme Coordinator Valtech raised all 4 hands for silence. High Admiral, you seem to be suggesting that this primitive species poses a genuine threat to the Confederation. Surely you're not serious. I am entirely serious, Supreme Coordinator. Our simulations indicate that if left unchecked, humanity will achieve technological parity with the Confederation within 50 years. Their unconventional approach to problem-solving makes them unpredictable and dangerous. The display shifted again, showing various human achievements. They solved quantum entanglement issues by simply brute-forcing their way through the probability barriers. They achieved faster-than-light travel by what they call hitting spacetime with a bigger hammer. Their solutions are inelegant, crude, and horrifyingly effective. Council member Raxiv, their holographic form shimmering with skepticism, spoke up. What exactly are you proposing, High Admiral? A preemptive strike, Zixtal declared. We assemble the largest fleet in Confederation history. Every member species contributes their most advanced vessels. We demonstrate our overwhelming technological superiority and demand humanity's immediate submission to Confederation authority. The chamber fell silent. Supreme Coordinator Valtech's bio readings indicated deep thought. And if they refuse, then we demonstrate why the Confederation has maintained peace in this galaxy for 10,000 years. Our fleet will be unstoppable. 17 different species technologies combined into one force. They won't stand a chance. General Karvix chittered in agreement. I concur. Better to deal with this threat now, while we maintain overwhelming superiority. My warrior clades will contribute our newest quantum phase dreadnoughts. One by one, the council members voiced their support. Only Ambassador Nirak seemed troubled. Has anyone actually studied human history? Their responses to external threats? Extensively, Zixtal assured them. They're predictable. When faced with superior force, They calculate odds and surrender. It's simple mathematics. The Supreme Coordinator raised their hands again. Then it is decided. High Admiral Zixtal, you will lead this operation. Assemble your fleet. Show these humans the true meaning of advanced civilization. As the council chamber emptied, Ambassador Nirak approached Zixtal privately. High Admiral, I feel compelled to mention the Proxima incident. The humans. We're lucky, Zixtal interrupted. A fluke. This time, we bring overwhelming force. No primitive species can stand against the combined might of the Confederation. As Zixtal departed, their crystalline form radiating confidence, they didn't notice Ambassador Nirak's troubled expression. The ambassador had studied more human history than most, and something about this plan felt wrong. But who would listen to such concerns now? The decision had been made. In the coming weeks, the greatest fleet ever assembled in Confederation history took shape. Vessels of every description gathered. Crystalline ships of the Luminous Collective, bioorganic cruisers of the Harmony Sphere, quantum-phase dreadnoughts of the Warrior Clades. Each one represented the pinnacle of their species' technology. High Admiral Zixtal surveyed the assembled armada from their flagship, the Inevitable Triumph. 17 different species had contributed their finest ships and technologies. The humans would have no choice but to submit when faced with such overwhelming superiority. The invasion fleet began its final preparations, its crews confident in their advanced technology and overwhelming numbers. None of them questioned their inevitable victory. None of them wondered why, despite their primitive technology, no other species had successfully conquered humanity before. They would learn. Soon. The Confederation fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, 17,000 ships arranged in a sphere around Earth's solar system. High Admiral Zixtal's crystalline form pulsed with satisfaction as the massive holographic display showed their fleet's position. Everything was proceeding according to plan. Initial scans of the system, Commander Renthe reported, their bioluminescent patterns flickering with confusion. Strange. We're detecting far fewer defensive installations than intelligence suggested. As expected, Zixtal resonated confidently. They've hidden their primary defenses. Primitive attempt at deception. Begin the announcement broadcast. The Inevitable Triumph's quantum arrays powered up, transmitting the carefully crafted message across all known communication frequencies. Attention inhabitants of Sol System. This is High Admiral Zixtal of the Confederation Fleet. Your uncontrolled technological advancement has been deemed a threat to galactic stability. Submit to our authority immediately or face the consequences. The response came almost instantly. A simple text transmission. New com. Who dis? Commander Renthe's translation matrix struggled for several moments. High Admiral, we believe this is some form of humor. The humans are not taking our ultimatum seriously. Zixtal's crystalline form darkened with anger. Launch the first phase. Show them exactly how serious we are. The Warrior Clade's quantum-phase dreadnoughts moved forward, their massive forms shifting between multiple reality states simultaneously. Behind them, the bioorganic cruisers of the Harmony Sphere began generating their reality warping fields. The most advanced fleet ever assembled began its unstoppable advance toward Earth. That's when everything went wrong. High Admiral. Renthe's voice carried notes of panic. We're detecting energy signatures throughout the Kuiper Belt. There. The first wave hit before they could finish. Thousands of what appeared to be simple mining platforms suddenly activated, revealing themselves as weapon platforms. But it was their method of attack that caused chaos in the Confederation fleet. Impossible. General Karvix's voice crackled over the command channel. They're using our phase variance against us. The quantum phase ships can't maintain stability. Zixtal watched in horror as the pride of the Warrior Clades began to fall apart. The humans weren't trying to match their quantum technology. They were collapsing the quantum fields entirely, forcing the ships back into single states with catastrophic results. Full attack formation, Zixtal ordered. Launch all fighters. Deploy the reality warpers. The Harmony Sphere's cruisers moved forward, their reality warping fields reaching out to twist space itself around the human defenses. But again, the humans had prepared. Hundreds of small, seemingly primitive satellites activated, generating counterfields that didn't try to match the advanced technology. They simply created zones where reality became stubbornly, unshackably normal. High Admiral Renthe reported, their patterns showing clear distress. We're detecting massive energy buildups throughout the asteroid belt. The humans, they've turned the entire belt into a weapon. Before Zixtal could respond, thousands of asteroids began moving, accelerated by what appeared to be ridiculously simple mass drivers. But their speed, their coordination, evasive action, Zixtal commanded, but it was too late. The asteroids weren't just weapons, they were carrying something else. As they approached the Confederation fleet, they'd burst apart, releasing clouds of what appeared to be space junk. Debris clouds. Zixtal's confusion quickly turned to horror as the true nature of the attack became clear. The debris wasn't random. It was precisely calculated to interact with their ship's advanced shielding systems. Where their quantum fields tried to deflect the debris, it somehow intensified the effect. Where their reality warping tried to shift it away, the junk followed them through the dimensional shifts. Status report. Zixtal demanded. We've lost 30% of the fleet. Renthe responded, their patterns barely coherent. The humans, they're not fighting the way the simulations predicted. They're not trying to match our technology. They're using our own advantages against us. A new transmission cut through their command channels. Hey aliens, thanks for bringing all your fancy tech to our doorstep. We've been wanting to test some theories. The human counterattack intensified. What looked like converted cargo ships emerged from hiding places throughout the system, each one equipped with jerry-rigged weapons that had no right to be as effective as they were. They weren't elegant. They weren't advanced. They just worked. High Admiral General Carvix's voice was heavy with defeat. We're detecting some kind of field emanating from Earth's moon. It's affecting our consciousness matrices. The Confederation's linked battlefield awareness, one of their greatest advantages, began to fragment. The humans weren't trying to hack it or override it. They were flooding it with what appeared to be cat videos and something called memes. This is impossible. Zixtal's crystalline form flickered with disbelief. Their technology is primitive. Their weapons are basic. Their tactics are working. Renthe finished grimly. They're not fighting fair, High Admiral. They're not fighting advanced. They're just fighting smart. As if to emphasize the point, a massive human vessel emerged from behind Mars, its hull covered in what appeared to be hastily attached sensor arrays and weapon mounts. It was ugly. It was inelegant, and it was tearing through the Confederation's most advanced ships like they were made of paper. All ships, Zixtal broadcast, their confidence shattered. Fall back to secondary positions. Regroup and... They never finished the order. A swarm of what appeared to be repurposed mining drones had surrounded the inevitable triumph. The last thing Zixtal saw before their flagship systems went dark was a message scrolling across their command display. Congratulations. You've been selected for our Advanced Technology Recycling Program. Please do not resist. Environmental protection is important to us. The greatest fleet in Confederation history was learning a harsh lesson. Sometimes the most dangerous technology isn't the most advanced. It's the most creative. And humanity, it seemed, had creativity in abundance. Commander Renthe's command center aboard the auxiliary vessel, Swift Retribution, had become the Confederation's impromptu headquarters after the loss of the inevitable triumph. Their bioluminescent patterns pulsed with stress as they coordinated what remained of their once proud fleet. Status update, they demanded, watching as another group of quantum phase ships disappeared from their tactical display. 58% of the fleet is either destroyed or disabled, reported strategic analyst Veckler, their holographic form flickering with distress. The humans, they're not just defending anymore. They're hunting us. As if to emphasize the point, a massive human vessel emerged from the shadow of Jupiter, its hull bristling with what appeared to be modified communication arrays. The Confederation's advanced sensor systems identified it as a converted ice mining platform, but its purpose now was far from peaceful. New contact, a sensor operator called out. It's broadcasting. Music. Through the command center speakers came the thundering sounds of something the database identified as classical rock. The human ship speakers, grotesquely oversized and clearly retrofitted, blasted, "We will rock you" across space itself. They're using sonic weapons. Veclor asked incredulously. No, Renthai realized with horror. They're using our own sensor systems against us. The music is overwhelming our quantum harmonic detection arrays. The humans had discovered that the Confederation's most advanced sensor systems, designed to detect the subtlest quantum fluctuations, were catastrophically vulnerable to massive acoustic vibrations. Even in space, the mining ship's powerful speakers weren't weapons themselves. They were simply overloading the aliens' delicate detection equipment. Disable acoustic sensors, Renthai ordered, but it was too late. 3 more human vessels appeared, each broadcasting different genres of music. The Confederation ships, their sensor systems confused and overloaded, began firing at sensor ghosts and each other. They're hurting us, Veclor observed with professional admiration, using our own tactical responses against us. When we try to spread out, they force us together. When we cluster for defense, they... A new alert cut through the chaos. From Earth's direction, hundreds of small objects accelerated toward the fleet. Analysis, Renthai demanded. They appear to be satellites. No, wait, they're telecommunications devices, ancient models, probably space junk. But this space junk moved with purpose. As it reached the fleet, each piece began broadcasting on different frequencies, creating a cascade of interference that played havoc with the Confederation's advanced communication systems. They turned their technological history into a weapon. Veclor said, their holographic form showing signs of genuine awe. Every piece of outdated technology, every failed experiment, every obsolete device, they kept them all. And now they're using them against us. The human counterattack continued to evolve. What looked like primitive space stations began moving, revealing themselves as disguised weapon platforms. Cargo containers split open, releasing swarms of crude but effective combat drones. Even their space debris was weaponized, each piece carefully calculated to disrupt shield harmonics and targeting systems. New transmission from the humans, the communication officer announced. On the main screen appeared a human, wearing what seemed to be casual clothing and drinking from a cup labeled, "World's Okayest Defense Minister." "Hey there," the human said cheerfully. "We noticed you folks seem to be having some technical difficulties. Have you tried turning your fleet off and on again?" Renthai's patterns flashed with anger. "This is not a game. We are the most advanced fleet in the galaxy." "Yeah, about that," the human replied, taking another sip. "See, the problem with being the most advanced is that you forget the basics. Like how sometimes a rock thrown at the right speed does more damage than a quantum torpedo." Speaking of which, the tactical display erupted with new warnings. The humans had launched what appeared to be simple kinetic projectiles, rocks essentially, accelerated to relativistic speeds by mass drivers hidden in the asteroid belt. "Impossible," Veclor exclaimed. "The energy requirements for relativistic weapons would be massive." The human finished. "Yeah, that's why we built a Dyson swarm around the sun, while everyone thought we were just putting up solar panels. Crude and inefficient, you'd probably say. But hey, it works." The relativistic projectiles tore through the Confederation's remaining ships. Their advanced shields, designed to stop energy weapons and quantum attacks, proved remarkably ineffective against good old-fashioned rocks moving at near-light speed. "All ships, emergency withdrawal," Renthai ordered. "Retreat to." They never finished the command. A new wave of human attacks had begun, this time using modified mining lasers. The beams weren't particularly powerful by Confederation standards, but they didn't need to be. They were precisely calibrated to interact with the quantum fields of the alien ships, causing cascading failures in their reality warping drives. They're not just beating us, Veclor realized, watching another squadron of ships fall to the human attacks. They're studying us. Every weapon they use is designed to exploit a specific weakness in our technology. They're learning as they fight. The human on the screen nodded. Pretty much. Thanks for bringing all your best tech to our doorstep, by the way. Our engineers are having a field day. The patents from this are going to be amazing. As the remnants of the Confederation fleet struggled to regroup, the true scope of their miscalculation became clear. They had expected to find a primitive species relying on brute force and simple tools. Instead, they had found a civilization that had turned their entire solar system into a laboratory for weapons development, using their supposedly primitive technology in ways the Confederation had never imagined possible. The humans weren't just defending their home. They were conducting the galaxy's most ambitious field test, and the Confederation fleet had volunteered to be their test subjects. Strategic Analyst Veclor's holographic form flickered with increasing instability as they delivered their final analysis to the remaining Confederation command staff. What had started as the greatest fleet in galactic history was now reduced to a scattered collection of damaged ships, trying desperately to maintain combat coherence. The humans, Veclor reported, their voice carrying a mix of fear and admiration, have been playing with us. Everything until now has been reconnaissance in force. They weren't just defending. They were cataloging our capabilities, testing our responses, and preparing for this moment. Through the tactical display, they watched as Earth's moon suddenly lit up with energy signatures. The surface seemed to ripple, sections of it sliding apart to reveal what had been hidden underneath. By the first light, Commander Renthai whispered, their bioluminescent patterns nearly going dark with shock. They hollowed out their moon. Not exactly, came the familiar voice of the human defense minister, appearing once again on their screens, still with their ever-present coffee cup. We just did some remodeling. You'd be amazed what you can accomplish with a few centuries of secret mining operations and a primitive understanding of engineering. The moon's surface continued to transform. What had appeared to be impact craters revealed themselves as massive weapon ports. The dark side of the moon, which the Confederation had dismissed as suspiciously quiet, turned out to be suspiciously quiet for a very good reason. You see, the defense minister continued conversationally, we figured that sooner or later, someone would show up with a fancy fleet and try to civilize us. So we decided to prepare a proper welcome. Would you like to see what we've been working on? Before Renthai could respond, the moon, humanity's weaponized moon, opened fire, but not with the energy weapons or quantum devices the Confederation expected. Instead, it launched what appeared to be millions of small, crude satellites. Are those telecommunications satellites? Veclor asked incredulously. From their early space age. Well, technically they're replicas, the defense minister admitted. We kept the original designs but made some improvements. The swarm of satellites surrounded what remained of the Confederation fleet. Each one was broadcasting on different frequencies, creating a web of overlapping signals that played havoc with the aliens' advanced systems. But that wasn't their primary purpose. You see, the defense minister explained, while you were busy showing off your quantum phase technology and reality warping fields, we were studying something much more interesting: how to use primitive technology to disrupt advanced systems. Those satellites, they're generating what we call a technology regression field. The effects were immediate and catastrophic. Confederation ships found their most advanced systems shutting down. Quantum state drives collapsed into single realities. Reality warping fields snapped back to normal space. Even their advanced AI systems began operating at drastically reduced capacity. How? Renthai demanded. This violates every known principle of advanced technology. The defense minister finished. Exactly. That's why it works. You built your systems on quantum uncertainty and reality manipulation. We built ours on making sure things stay exactly where they're supposed to be. Turns out, reality really doesn't like being warped too much. Sometimes you just need to remind it of that fact. Vector watched in horror as the humans launched their final attack. From Mars, Jupiter's moons, and dozens of hidden bases throughout the solar system, humanity's primitive fleet emerged. But now, with the Confederation's advanced technology neutralized, the playing field had been leveled, or rather, tilted dramatically in humanity's favor. Did you really think, the defense minister asked, that a species paranoid enough to weaponize their own moon wouldn't have backup plans for their backup plans? Everything you've seen until now was just our first line of defense. Would you like to see what we do when we actually try? The human ships moved with devastating coordination. Without their advanced technology to rely on, the Confederation fleet found itself facing an enemy that had spent centuries perfecting the art of primitive warfare. Each human vessel was a masterpiece of redundant systems and over-engineered components, designed to function even under the most adverse conditions. Last chance, the defense minister offered. You can surrender now, and we'll let you leave with enough functional technology to make it home. We'll even throw in some research papers on how we managed all this. Our engineers really want to publish their findings. Renthai, watching their fleet disintegrate under the human assault, made the only decision they could. This is Commander Renthai of the Confederation fleet. We surrender. Excellent choice. The defense minister beamed. Our recovery ships will be along shortly to assist your damaged vessels. Oh, and don't worry about all the debris. We have a very efficient recycling program. We've been wanting to study some of your technology up close anyway. As the battle ended and humanity's true defensive capabilities powered down, Vector turned to Renthai. We never had a chance, did we? They weren't defending against an invasion. They were conducting a live-fire research project. Indeed, Renthai replied, their patterns showing deep resignation. And I suspect the greatest weapons in their arsenal weren't the ones they showed us, but the ones they kept hidden. Just in case. The human defense minister's final transmission confirmed their fears. Oh, absolutely. Would you like to know what we hid inside Venus? No. Maybe next time then. Coffee, anyone? 10 years after the failed invasion, Professor Vector stood in their classroom at the Confederation Academy of Strategic Studies, their holographic form projected beside a dramatic display of debris fields from the historic battle. The room was filled with students from 17 different species, all eager to learn from what had become known as the Great Miscalculation. And here, Vector indicated a particularly dense cluster of wreckage, is where the inevitable triumph made its final stand. Though stand might be generous, brief moment of panic before being turned into a museum piece would be more accurate. A student raised an appendage. Professor, is it true that the humans actually preserved some of our ships as orbital exhibits? Indeed, Vector's form flickered with what had become amusement rather than shame. The Human Space Museum now features several intact Confederation vessels. They even hired some of our engineers to help maintain them. The gift shop, I'm told, does excellent business. The display shifted to show the current state of Earth's solar system. What had once appeared to be a primitive collection of colonies and mining operations had transformed into an openly formidable defensive network. The humans, no longer needing to hide their capabilities, had turned their entire system into a showcase of technological innovation. The most profound change, Vector continued, wasn't in their military posture, but in their diplomatic approach. The humans, having proven their point rather dramatically, became surprisingly generous with their knowledge. Another student spoke up, their crystalline form vibrating with curiosity. Is that why we now have human exchange students at the academy? Precisely, Vector confirmed, though I sometimes suspect they're here more to keep an eye on us than to learn. Their questions in tactical classes can be unsettlingly insightful. The display changed again, showing the current state of galactic politics. The Confederation had undergone significant reforms after the failed invasion, with humanity playing an unexpected role in reshaping interstellar relations. The humans call it cooperative deterrence, Veclor explained. They share enough of their technology to make invasion impossible, while maintaining enough secrets to keep potential aggressors uncertain. It's remarkably effective. But Professor, another student interjected, surely we now understand their capabilities. Their defensive systems. Veclor's holographic form pulsed with genuine laughter. Do we? Consider this. During the entire conflict, Earth itself never fired a single shot. Everything we faced came from their outer system defenses. To this day, no one outside their military knows what planetary defense systems they actually have, though there are some rather disturbing theories about what they did to Venus. The professor pulled up another display, showing the current state of technological exchange between humanity and the Confederation. The humans have an interesting approach to sharing technology. They'll teach you the principles behind their innovations, but always with the sense that they're holding something back. As their defense minister once told me, a magician never reveals all their tricks. Speaking of their defense minister, a student asked, is it true they still use that same coffee cup? Oh yes, Veclor confirmed. It's become something of a diplomatic symbol. They bring it to every major negotiation. I believe they've had to repair it 17 times, but they insist it's the same cup. Something about maintaining traditions. The display shifted one final time, showing the current state of human expansion into the galaxy. Their ships, still appearing deceptively primitive to casual observation, had begun peaceful exploration of systems far beyond their own. The greatest lesson, Veclor concluded, wasn't about technology or military capability. It was about assumptions. We assumed that advanced civilization meant following a specific technological path. The humans prove that there are countless paths to the same destination, and sometimes the scenic route is better armed. And the moon? A student asked. Did they really hollow it out? No one knows for certain, Veclor admitted. The humans allow regular diplomatic visits to their lunar bases, but visitors report that the facility seems to change between visits. Some suspect the entire moon is now mobile, though the humans neither confirm nor deny this. They just smile and offer more coffee. The professor's form shifted to show their concluding slides. The current diplomatic status between humanity and the Confederation is officially listed as friendly with mutual respect, or as the humans put it, you don't invade us, we don't have to embarrass you. The debris field from our failed invasion has become a popular tourist destination. The humans operate regular tours, complete with holographic recreations of the battle. The gift shops sell pieces of Confederation ships as paperweights. They're quite popular, especially among our own people. There's something oddly poetic about that. Veclor's form brightened with genuine warmth. But perhaps the most important legacy of our great miscalculation is this. We learned that true advancement isn't about having the most sophisticated technology, but about using what you have most effectively. The humans taught us that lesson rather dramatically. And now, every year, on the anniversary of the surrender, the human defense minister sends every member of the original invasion fleet a coffee cup. Mine says, "World's okayest invader." The class erupted in laughter, a sound that would have been unthinkable in the old Confederation. But that was the human influence. They had taught their former enemies not just about technology and warfare, but about the value of being able to laugh at your own mistakes. Remember, Veclor concluded, the humans have a saying. The most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the best weapons, but the one who knows how to use a spoon as a sword. I'm still not entirely sure what that means, but after seeing what they did with outdated satellites and an allegedly hollow moon, I'm not about to question their logic.